Hey guys, Dave Keller here with Market Misbehavior. I think financial media in general, specifically financial TV, sometimes gets a bad rap. People talk about how it's noise or how they sensationalize things and as a group, and it's just noise. It's just in the way. It's not really giving you anything. I think that's not entirely fair, and I think it all comes down to how you use financial media, particularly financial television. It reminds me, Byron Wien, the famous investor, wrote years ago an article talking about sort of his rules for life, which I've saved and I review it pretty regularly. And one of his comments was about reading, and he said, "Don't just mindlessly read. Don't just read assuming that the author knows everything that they're talking about. Read with intention." And that was the key word, was intention, right? Read a book, uh, having your own assumptions, your own ideas of what you think is correct, and then compare the author's comments with your own take. And that's how you grow as a human being, as an investor, and so forth, is by reading with intention. I think the same idea is applicable with financial television. It's all about your intention when you watch it. So three positive ways I think you can use financial media. Number one is do your own work first. Don't use what you're hearing from experts on TV as a substitute for your own rigorous analysis. I like to look at financial TV, listen to guests, listen to commentators after I've done my own work. I want to start with my own process. The first things I see during the day are not someone else's point of view. I want to become very comfortable with my own point of view or solidify my own perspective. So it starts with my own process, my own starting point, my own take on the world. Then you can compare their take to your own, right? And see, is there something you've missed? Why might you have missed a specific point or a specific thesis? Is someone looking at similar data, similar information, and coming up with an alternative thesis? Why is that? But again, it's similar to reading with intention, right? It's doing your analysis with intention, then comparing that to what others are doing and seeing if there's anything you can gain. So the second thing is, don't allow it to replace your analysis, but inform your analysis. So a lot of times people will talk about a move or an inflection point or a reversal or a new data point that I might have missed in some way, right? It's not a normal part of my process. So sometimes specific tickers, specific themes, specific stories, specific theses come out of another person's analysis. Then you can start to think, okay, hold on a second. How does that validate or invalidate what I've done with my own work, right? And helps you, again, maybe nudge you in a direction. That does not mean that you should then take what they say at face value. All that does is tell you what you should be looking at next. So I always make a point when I hear someone talking about a ticker or a group, home builders, banks, semiconductors, whatever, I always jot down what it is, and I have a list of things that I want to look at later when I have some time, maybe after the close, and I'll always write down that theme. And so it's not a point of view, and it's not a specific action step. The action step is for me just to revisit the thing that they were talking about and remember what they're doing, but also do my own work focus. So, on its own. So again, the second thing is don't allow it to replace your analysis, but inform your analysis. And then the third thing is use it as a way to think critically about your own toolkit. This is an opportunity when you're looking at financial media, and I'm thinking of some of my favorite guests on financial media, either that I've had on my own show on Stock Charts TV or that I've seen on other on TV outlets. And what are the people that you respect, the people whose point of view you really value? What are they doing? What can you tease out about their own process, how they're looking at the world, what kind of information they're consuming, who they're talking to, and use that as a way to think about my own process, how I can improve it. So the three ways I think you can use financial media in a positive way: number one, do your own work first and then consume the financial media. Number two, don't allow it to replace your thesis, but inform your thesis, inform your analysis. The third thing, use it as an opportunity to think critically about your own toolkit and use how others are trying to win the game as a way to potentially improve your own. If this sort of thinking about investment process, investor behavior, and decision making is of interest to you, I hope you'll hit subscribe and also look at some of the other videos on my Market Misbehavior channel. Thanks so much.